All right, guys, today I want to talk to you guys about the importance of liquidity in collecting and investing. So there'll be something there, whether you're a collector or an investor today. I hope this will be an interesting video for you. Let's jump right into it. So first of all, guys, I just want to mention, if you are new to the channel, please hit that like button if you enjoy this video, and I'd love it if you'd subscribe. I talk about a variety of different Pokemon content, and I also do some pack openings that are kind of fun too. So anyway, check out my other content. Let me know what you think. So let's talk about liquidity. Whether you're collecting or investing, a lot of times there's going to be a time in the future when you may want to sell your collectible. If you're a collector, maybe you decide later on that you want to sell it. Maybe you want to go after something else that you're interested in more at that time, right? Maybe your tastes change over the years. I mean, most collectors, I think, have gone through the stages of, you buy something and then maybe later on you decide, well, I didn't really need it, or I found something else that I liked more. Or maybe, you buy something like a PSA card and you buy it in a PSA 8 and then later you can afford the 9, or you buy it in the 9, later you can afford the 10. There's a lot of reasons why as a collector you may want to sell a piece of your collection and buy something else. And as an investor, obviously you're looking to make money, and so in the future you're going to need to sell the products that you are investing in. Now, an important piece of that is liquidity. So once you put your item up on the market, how quickly is it going to sell? How fast is it going to sell? Do you have to sit there and leave it up there for a long time? Here's a little Armrouge EX Premium Collection box. I want to say this one came out kind of more recently. Price has been going up on this. Just packs in general have been getting more and more expensive. So this guy's been slowly trickling up in price. Although notice, as the price has gone up, really the volume of sales hasn't really increased. If anything, it was pretty high here for a second. Of course, who knows? This could have been somebody just buying a bunch of copies of it to rip. Even could have been a streamer. But notice down here, it's like most of the time these are only like 1 to 3 of these selling a day. So really low liquidity on this Armrouge EX Premium Collection box. And I think you'll find that with a lot of collection boxes, is that they're kind of low liquidity. They don't really sell very fast. You might have to, like, this guy's got 13 of these. It could take him a while to sell these, right? And he's even listing here at the bottom of the market. But as opposed to a booster box, which is just a lot more liquid. This looks like the small number, but notice there's 27 items sold here, 31 there, 24. So a lot more of these Paradox Rift booster boxes are moving, even if Paradox Rift is not really the greatest. So I love Paradox Rift a lot, but in the eyes of the market, it's not really deemed the greatest set. And it doesn't have the highest set of eyes on it right now compared to, Journey Together that just came out, Prismatic Evolution, Surging Sparks, even, Paldea Evolve. Some of these other sets have a lot more eyes on them. And this Armrouge EX box, I'm pretty sure has at least one pack of Paradox Rift in it, or something similar. So the fact that the Paradox Rift booster box is selling so much more just shows you it really is just a lot more liquid item than the collection box. Really, if you're going to buy this collection box as an investment, you're almost better off just breaking it down and selling the loose packs. It might be more liquid, and it's going to take up less storage space. One thing that drives me crazy about these is how much space they take up. This one holds 6 packs, but this is a pretty big box to only hold 6 packs. So something to consider. May just make sense just to break the packs down and sell the packs, because Paradox Rift packs are selling 50 items there in those 3 days. We had 175, 61, 116. So the packs are selling much faster. And if you get on eBay and you look at like pack lots, I'm sure, that's going to show even greater volume, because a lot of people don't want to necessarily buy, this price, shipping included. They may want to go get a bulk lot for a little bit cheaper. So yeah, just something to think about with all these ancillary products, whether it be collection boxes, tins, etc. A lot of times they're bulkier, they take up more space, and they're a little less liquid to sell, It's why the booster box is typically king for investments, and ETBs are really good too. I think booster bundles now are going to start being also an outstanding investment. I think they've already been so far, and I think they'll continue to be because they're nice and compact. I think people really like that, myself included. Now, there are collection boxes that buck this trend that are fantastic, investments. However, we're mainly talking about liquidity here, so it still didn't really exactly buck the trend. You'll notice here when the prices were still kind of cheap, this is over, MSRP. These were sold at Sam's Club for, I think, $60 plus tax. So this was over the price of them in Sam's Club, right? But there was a lot selling. There was like 149 here, 88, 96. Now we're down to like 10 items, 17, 14, 35. Still a lot more than the Armor Rouge EX box, but this is Crown Zenith. Much more popular set. There's no more Crown Zenith product that you can really get your hands on. There's no Crown Zenith booster box. You can only get it from ancillary products or ETBs. The ETBs have gone up in price like a huge amount lately. So this really is like your best bet to get Crown Zenith packs in a lot of ways right now. So it makes sense that would increase its liquidity a little bit. And of course, if you were to list your item, that's another thing we have to mention about liquidity is you can force liquidity by listing your item kind of well under market, and it will typically sell really fast, even if you have a less liquid item. Although you could have a really, really unliquid item and it may not. So let's turn our attention a little bit to cards now. I'm going to give you an example of a very illiquid card and how that could be a pro or con when you're selling your card. So I had a copy of this Mischievous from the Trainer magazine. Probably a lot of you have never heard of this card before. It's one of the Japanese unnumbered promos from way back in the day from 2000. This came in the Trainer magazine in Japan. I had a copy that was just pristine. It was perfect. It was well centered. It was super clean. So I sent it in and I got a PSA 10. Now, the only sale that's even here on price charting is this one at $210. Somebody bought it for $46, but look, there's like no other history, right? And if you go over to my eBay, I can show you here that I actually was able to sell it for $129 back on, I want to say it was June of 2024. I don't want to scroll up because I don't want to give away the sell, the buyer's info or anything like that. But I did sell a copy of this successfully. Now, the kicker is I had to leave it on the market for probably like 3 or 4 months. And I was willing to sit on it for a long time. I didn't need to sell it right away. And I knew that if you look at the pop report, this is a very low pop card. There's only 30 of them in existence. So I knew I just needed to find somebody that was either a Mischievous collector, like an intense Mischievous collector, or somebody that wanted to get all the Trainer magazine promos in Gem Mint 10. And I knew that I had a low pop card. So I was willing to wait. And so sometimes those low liquid cards you can actually sell for large amounts of profit, even though recently somebody only got 46 for it. If we went and looked at this one, I'm going to guess. So see, this person put it up for auction, which is a terrible thing to do for a liquid card, right? An illiquid card. If you have a card that's rare and illiquid, it's not something that people are commonly looking for, and it's not usually something that sells fast. You do not want to auction it, because when you auction it, you're not going to get great value for it, right? This person only got 46 minus the fees, whereas when I sold mine, I got 129 minus the fees, which was 106.88. So that's something important to keep in mind too. If you have illiquid items in your collection and you need to go sell them, especially liquid cards, you may have to wait a very long time to get the price you want. It's possible you may never get the price you want, right? But just be prepared to have your items sitting on the market longer, and be prepared if you want a good price for it to buy it now. Now you can throw it up on auction and it will sell, but you may not get much money for it. So just something to keep in mind. On the flip side, if you have something like this Giratina V Alt Art, extremely popular card, much more liquid. However, you'll notice even something that's this popular and is way more liquid than that Mischievous I was showing you, it goes through cycles of liquidity. And in this case, it kind of, is an opposite of its price, right? As the price goes up, its liquidity seems to go down. And then as the price goes down, its liquidity seems to go up. And I think that's what you're going to see a lot of times with a lot of popular cards, but it doesn't exactly follow that flow. But if you're trying to sell the Giratina V Alt Art right now on the market at market price, it's only like that's two from March 31st to April 2nd. So that's less than one a day selling right now on TCG Player. Whereas a little while ago, there was 10 of them selling in a 3-day period. So even some of these high flyer cards, you might have to discount it from market price to get it to sell faster, or just be patient, right? Singles in general, I've noticed, tend to be less liquid usually than sealed, but that's not always the case. It depends on how hot the card is. I can guarantee you pretty much all the SIRs right now on Journey Together, you could sell like that, right? Because it's the latest, hottest set that everybody wants. So just something to keep in mind too with your collections is you may want to tap into what is the market doing with these cards that I have. If I'm looking ahead to sell them eventually, I want to look for a time in the market when there's liquidity. And I love this chart with Giratina because I think it demonstrates something really interesting. And we could zoom out too, but you'll notice there's a lot of buying activity right here. So these blue bars represent the volume. Of course, I should have told you that earlier. As this volume is increasing, notice the price starts going up. And then at some point you get to these price where it's so high that the volume starts decreasing down here, right? And it sort of stabilizes or it keeps coming down. If you have this card and you've held it for a long time and you're looking to sell it, when you start seeing all this volume happening, it's a good idea to start maybe tracking the card and stay in tune with it. And then you're never going to necessarily time the top. But as you see this thing start to increase rapidly, like I wouldn't be surprised if this would be a great time to sell right here at the 526 mark, right? Obviously, you could have made more money if you held to 708, but you also could hold and then miss it and then realize that, it could go back down to 620 and it could even go down even farther down into the 400s. It's hard to know what this card's going to do next, right? But by watching the amount of transactions, you can get an idea of what the card's probably going to do in the future and if it's going to be a good time to sell soon. And you can kind of keep a better eye on the market, if that makes sense. So that's just a little bit of something to pay attention to. But liquidity is a big deal. If you're needing to get out of something fast, having items that are more liquid is really useful. And in sealed, it's nothing's more liquid than the booster box, and followed by the ETB. And then I think after that, honestly, loose packs are becoming pretty good now. They used to not be as liquid, but they're pretty liquid these days. Forgot the booster bundle. I'd probably put that maybe even before the ETB. I don't know, somewhere in that range. But those three items for a sealed investor or collector, I think are going to typically stay pretty liquid. And usually those kind of items too, you only need a small undercut of the market if you need to sell it quickly, which is nice. With singles, it can be a little bit tougher. If you stick to popular singles that you're collecting, they're going to be more liquid to sell. I have a mix. I have a lot of items that are more popular, more liquid, but I also have some items that are more obscure, would be harder to sell, would take longer to sell. So you just need to keep that in mind. If you're thinking, hey, I'm going to sell my, parts of my collection off, or maybe I want to sell some of my vintage, unnumbered Japanese promo cards off in 6 months. Well, you may want to list them now if you want them to sell in 6 months, because some cards are pretty illiquid. They take a long time. So anyway, I had to kind of throw this video together quickly, guys. I'm sorry I couldn't look up into a ton of data, but I think we always think about price. And I think we also need to balance that with liquidity, whether you're a collector or an investor. You think you're going to be selling something in the future, you need to be thinking about liquidity. Liquidity will allow you to get your money faster and sell that quicker and get more eyes on it. A lot of times auctions will do much better with liquid cards and will do much poorer with illiquid cards. So keep in mind the way that you're selling it, you probably want to do buy it now for illiquid items so you can get the max price possible. Maybe buy it now with an offer, and you can consider offers. And then also, you know, when you're collecting, it's like maybe be careful about buying too many illiquid collectibles, right? You might end up with this really expensive collection that's really hard to sell off one day if you need to sell it, or if you change your mind and you want to get something else. And then also, you can use illiquid items as a way to earn extra money, right? So if you find something like that Mischievous where, hey, it's in a liquid card, it's a really low pop, not a lot of people looking after it, I was basically able to name my price. I was the only one on the market selling it. Nobody else was. I had to wait. It took months before I could sell it and get paid for it, but I was able to get essentially top dollar for it. So you can consider maybe mixing some of those plays in, but be careful about going too heavy into illiquid cards because they can sting you. You can end up with a lot of stuff just sitting around, a lot of your money tied up in items that you're trying to get rid of. So anyway, hopefully you found something useful in that today. Please leave me a comment. Let me know what your thoughts are on liquidity, if you've factored that into your collecting or investing goals or decisions, and let me know if you disagree with me or agree on any of these ideas. Please give me a like if you enjoyed the video, and I'd love it if you'd subscribe, hit that notification bell, and you can be notified when I drop a new video. We will see you all later.